Hey guys, welcome back to One Stop Biology. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about immunity. So guys, before I start this topic, there's a request that please give your feedback on the videos that you're watching on the channel, and do let me know if you need any kind of improvisation. But yes, your feedback is very, very important. So please do keep giving me your feedback so that I can improvise as per your requirement, right? There might be things which would be not as per your requirements. So do let me know if you need anything extra from my end because I want you to just clear your exam. And yes, if you're watching the video and if you're liking it, do please do like the video and share it with your friends as much as you can. So guys, let's start with immunity. So guys, if you are noticing nowadays or even from before, the kind of diseases that we discussed in the last few videos, we saw that there are a lot of pathogens in the environment, right? So basically our body is you know open to a lot of different infectious agents. But do we always keep falling sick? Do we always keep having all of these diseases? No, right? So this is because our body has its own defense mechanism. Now it has defense mechanism against any kind of foreign agents. By foreign agents, I mean our body treats outside thing as foreign agents, right? So any kind of alarming thing to our body comes under a strict scrutiny, and the scrutiny is done by our immune system, right? So basically immunity is nothing but the overall ability of a host of an organism to fight the disease causing organisms, to fight the foreign agents, right? And this is conferred by the immune system of the body, right? So immunity is the overall ability of the host to fight the disease causing organisms conferred by the immune system, right? Now, immunity are of two types, guys. It can be an innate immunity or an acquired immunity. So what we'll do is we'll study both one by one in detail, right? So first we'll see innate immunity. Now, guys, innate immunity is basically a non-specific type of defense. It is a generalized defense which is present since the time of birth, right? So as soon as we are born with innate immunity. I hope I'm understood to you guys. So as soon, I will repeat it again. As soon as we are born with a certain defense system in our body against pathogens, against disease causing agents. And this is nothing but the innate immunity. So it is non-specific. It is a general defense that we have since we are born. Now, this is accomplished by providing different types of barriers to entry, to entry of these foreign agents. So basically, our body provides different types of barriers to these agents, right? So there are four different types of barriers basically. The first one is the physical barrier. So the skin that you see on our body is the main barrier, guys. It is very, very important. It plays a very, very important part in immune system, right? So the skin of our body is the main barrier, and it prevents entry of any kind of microorganism, right? So what happens is that our epithelium, the epithelium lining of major organs, be it respiratory, be it gastrointestinal, be it urinogenital tract, all of these have mucus coating. And this mucus coating basically helps in trapping microbes entering into our body, right? So basically, all the epithelium lining of the important systems, of the important openings that we have. Skin any which ways is providing a barrier. Now we have mouth, we have respiratory opening, we have gastrointestinal opening, and we have urinogenital opening, right? All these have the epithelium of all these systems have mucus coating which traps microbes which is entering into our body. So this is the physical barrier, right? The second one is the physiological barrier. right? So we have various other systems, like we have acid in our stomach, we have saliva in the mouth. In the same way, we have tears from eyes, and all these physiological barriers basically prevent microbial growth. So the pathogens can't survive in the acid, the acidity, the acidic pH of stomach. We have saliva, which again has, agents or say chemicals which basically fights with the microbial growth, which do not let microbes to grow. And then even the tears from our eyes prevent microbial growth. So this is the physiological barrier. The third barrier is cellular barrier. So guys, we have certain types of leukocytes, which is white blood cells in our body, which are formed since we are born. And these white blood cells or leukocytes are basically natural killers. They destroy, they eat up the microbes, right? So these leukocytes, then we have monocytes, we have different type of lymphocytes in the blood, we have macrophages, right? So there are a lot of cells which are present in our blood, which basically phagocytose, which break down and destroy microbes. So this is the cellular barrier. And the fourth barrier in innate immunity is cytokine barrier. Right. So basically, what happens that say a virus infects the cell, our cell. These virus infected cells secrete proteins, and these proteins are known as interferons. Interferons. And these interferons protect non-infected cells from further viral infection. Right? So cytokine barrier is basically secretions from infected cell that protects all the non-infected cells from basically getting further viral infection. So this is cytokine barriers. Now guys, remember that all these four barriers are part of innate immunity which we acquire since we are born. Now the second type of immunity is acquired immunity. Right. Now, acquired immunity is a specific immunity. It is a pathogen specific immunity, right? And this is characterized by memory. So, say when our body encounters a pathogen for the first time, it produces a response which is known as primary response, which is primary response, right? Now, this primary response is of low intensity. Now, say subsequent encounter with the same pathogen ultimately elicits a highly intensity secondary response. So, when you keep getting this pathogen again and again, you start generating secondary response, right? This is a high intensity response. Now, basically, this is ascribed to the fact that our body appears to have memory of the first encounter. So basically, we remember this, our body remembers this encounter, right? Now, this primary and secondary responses, these are immune responses. These are basically carried out with the help of two different type of lymphocytes which is present in our blood. These are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So these responses are basically carried out with the help of two types of lymphocytes, which is B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. These lymphocytes are present in our blood. Okay. Now see, let's see what is B lymphocyte. B lymphocyte basically produces an army of proteins, and these proteins work against the pathogen. Right? So basically, these lymphocytes produces proteins in response to pathogens into our blood to fight with them. These proteins are known as antibodies. These are known as antibodies, right? Now T lymphocytes. So T lymphocytes themselves do not secrete antibodies, but they help the B cells to produce them, right? So what they do, T lymphocytes help in producing the antibodies, right? So they help the B cells to produce antibodies. Now, guys, if you see the structure of antibody, each antibody molecule has four peptide chains. They have what? They have four peptide chains, right? Two are small, which are known as light chains, and two are longer, which are known as heavy chains, right? So that is why antibody antibody is represented as H2L2, two heavy and two light chains, right? Now we have different types of antibodies which are produced. So basically these are named as Ig, immunoglobulin. So we have IgA, we have IgM, we have IgE, we have IgG. So there are so many different types of antibodies which are produced, right? Now, if you see the structure, this is structure of the antibody molecule, right? So these are the smaller chains that you see. These are the smaller chains. These are light chains. These are the larger chains. These are heavy chains. And this is the antigen binding site. This is where the microbe binds, right? So this is the structure of the antibody. Now what happens that because these antibodies are found in the blood, this response from blood is known as what? This response from blood is known as humoral immune response. This is known as humoral immune response, right? Now this is one of the two types. So basically acquired immune response is of two types: humoral immune response, which is antibody mediated, which is antibody mediated, right? The second type is, this is the first type. Second type is mediated immune response or cell mediated immunity, right? This is known as CMI. Now, what type of cells mediate these? T lymphocytes. Remember, T lymphocytes mediate cell-mediated immunity, right? So basically what happens, if you see, I'll give you an example of immunity. Sometimes what happens is some of our organs fail, right? Say liver, kidney, or eye, or heart. They fail to function, right? And the only remedy for those patients are what? To transplant these organs and to find a suitable donor and transplant this organ from someone else. Now, why don't we just randomly take these organs from anyone? It is because our body treats any kind of foreign entry as foreign body, right? And if we do not match the organs as closer as we can to the one present, there is a higher chance that the patient's body who needs this transplant is the body is going to basically reject that organ and treat it as a foreign agent, treat it as an infection, right? And that is why basically the organ will not be suited and the person might die, right? So basically, before this kind of transplant, tissue matching, blood group matching are very essential, right? And what happens is that sometimes even after the transplant, the patient needs to take immunosuppressant to suppress the immune response, right? Now, what happens is that basically the body is able to differentiate the self and non-self and the cell-mediated immune response, which is responsible for the graft rejection. So basically, the body declines the organ, right? So that is why we say that the immune system is a very, very important part of our living, right? The more, stronger it is, the higher your survival chances nowadays, right? And that's what is happening in the case of COVID as well, if you would have heard of it, right? Now, guys, the third type of immunity is active and passive. So we have seen what we have seen innate immunity, we have seen acquired immunity, which is basically memory based for the body. Third type of immunity is active and passive. Now, say when a host is exposed to an antigen, right? Now, this may be a living or a dead microbe or any protein or antibodies, right? So, what happens is antibodies are produced in the host body. This type of immunity is called active immunity, right? So basically, active immunity is slow and it takes time to give its full effective response, right? Now, say if I inject microbe deliberately during immunization or infectious organisms, gaining access into body during natural infection, this induces active immunity. Now, sometimes ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the bodies against foreign agents. This type of immunity is known as passive immunity, right? Now, the example is colostrum, the yellowish fluid which is secreted by mother during the initial days of lactation after the offspring is born, has abundant antibodies to protect the infant, right? So this is an example of passive immunity. That offspring, that kid, is not producing its own immunity. It is not an active immunity that its own body is producing. Basically, he or she is getting it from outside in the form of colostrum. He or she is getting it from their mother, right? So this basically they are receiving antibodies from their mother, right? These are examples of passive immunity, guys. So if your body is producing an immunity against a microbe, it is active. But if you are taking ready-made antibodies, if you're taking, if you're getting immunity from outside, which your own immune system is not producing, it is passive immunity. So, guys, with this, we have finished different types of immune systems. In the next video, we'll see more about vaccination, what is autoimmunity, what are allergies, and what are the immune system in the body, right? So what kind of organs are there which support or which form the immune system of our body? So, guys, I hope you would have understood this topic of different types of immune system, this different type of immunity. Please do like the video and share it with your friends if you did. And if you have any doubt, please either comment on the video or you can send me WhatsApp message. And I've given the WhatsApp number in the description of the video. But yes, please do give your feedback. I'll be waiting for your comments, guys. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.